Now, is there a set of any part of this 40 flushes? Because all those things are definitely important. But those sound like they're for people who are just really kind of getting into it, maybe don't understand their business as much. Is there any set in the 40 flushes that might pertain to people who understand a little bit more? Or do you have, is this preliminary like the 40 flushes, and then they can move on to another set of business strategy that you have that
Well,
says, okay, you've kind of got through this, now you're on level two?
there's not currently. I am working on 40 more flushes, which will be coming out probably in the spring. So that is on the works. But really and truly, my hope is with this. Some of the flushes do get into a little bit more advanced stuff. But my real hope is to get people introduced to the concept that there are things that they can learn to make their business better. I think people get into habits, they get into routines. They can often fall into that I know everything I need to know. And I think even the most seasoned of veterans will learn something about that. I can tell you, when I start going over some of these elements of profits or some of these how to market yourself or how to decide when it's time to hire new people, I think even your most advanced, I know this stuff person is going to have some aha moments throughout the book. And my hope is to give them enough aha moments so that they do look to see beyond that. I know what can happen in your industry, with as a business owner, obviously I'm a business owner myself of a different kind. I know how easy it is to wake up in the morning thinking about your business. You're eating your breakfast thinking about your business. You're at the office thinking about your business. You're sitting on the couch at night watching TV thinking about your business. And the last thing before you close your eyes to go to bed, you're thinking about your business. And it can be easy to think that the rest of the world is thinking about your business as well because it's consuming you. And so it's very important to remember that most of the rest of the world doesn't even know you exist. They're not giving 4 moments of thought a year to your business. And recognizing that and helping put things in perspective is, I think, very powerful. One of the things that I talk about in one of the flushes is market research. Now, here's the weird thing. When you hear that phrase market research, my guess is that you immediately started seeing flow charts and spreadsheets and all these numbers and demographics and all this stuff that probably made some of your listeners pee down their leg. Well, the truth of the matter is there are some things that can give you great market research in your own community that cost nothing and are very simple. For example, I have my clients do this all the time. Next time you're in Walmart, standing in line, turn around to the person behind you and say, hey, I'm considering buying this, but I was thinking about going to a rent-to-own store. Who would you recommend? And see what happens. See what they say. So, hey, I'm thinking about going over here to Joe's Rent-to-Own. Do you know anything about them? And see what they say. You encounter people every day who are your potential customers when you're standing in line at the grocery store, or when you're at the bank, or when you're walking in the park. And just take that moment. But most business owners will never do that because they're afraid of what they'll hear. And the reality of it is you need to hear what people are saying about you. We talk all the time about branding. And so many times people think branding takes place in the eyes of the person transmitting the signal. Well, I know what my brand is. I know what my message is. I put it out on this, but branding takes part on the receiving end. And if the people you're trying to put your message to aren't seeing your business in the same way that you see your business, you've got a disconnect there that is stopping you from being as effective as you can be.
John, I couldn't argue with that at all. I think your brand is the perceived value of all the interactions that are
Right.
they're having every day with your brand.